Hello, everyone. It is Hofit Kim Cohen Meyers, Miss Newlywed, and I am so excited to have you join this brand new space of mine. This is kind of like the introduction podcast episode 1. And today is New Year's, so it is December 31st, 2024. And I kind of wanted to I call this a riff, just, whatever's on my heart, whatever I'm feeling and vibing. I'm going to answer a couple of questions on what this podcast is going to be, why I'm even starting this, all the things. So without further ado, let's get started. So welcome, everyone. I clearly could have not waited to January 1st, apparently, because all of this new podcast concept and idea, while it has been brewing in the back of my subconscious mind for many, many, many years, mostly as a joke. I am infamous for being detailed as fudge, leaving extremely, extremely long WhatsApp messages that sometimes, I don't keep it short. I'm obsessed with detail. I'm obsessed with giving someone the full-blown picture and just all the details so that they can imagine it and see it and feel it on all the things, because I am a manifestor generator. And, for years on years, I have used WhatsApp as a form of a podcast. I leave long-ass messages. I do break them into multiple ones to give people a break. It has been to my mom, to my siblings, to my best friends, to people all over the world. And everyone always jokingly says, but I don't think that they were joking. They actually really did mean it. Made these jokes that I need my own podcast. And I would be like, okay, whatever, funny. And they're like, no, we meet it. It's like, no, seriously. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. And they're like, okay, I'm about to play your podcast because it's so long. And, it's always been a thing. And it's been a funny joke that I guess was implanted not by me, but by others in my subconscious mind. But furthermore, I've also been asked to do a podcast for many, many years. And just, I always kind of disregarded it. I'm like, I don't have patience for that. I run a lot of different things. For those of you who don't know, I have been a social media influencer for almost 11 years. So I run the main place that I'm always at is on my Instagram, on stories every single day. But I also run a YouTube channel for all these years, Instagram for all these years, Facebook page. I used to run my own blog. I run programs, coaching, one-on-one programs, masterclasses. There are so many TikTok accounts, multiple accounts. I have so many things always going on, and I'm constantly inspired that having a podcast just always felt like, oh my God, that's just another thing that just seems like too much, because I'm always everywhere, posting everywhere, and it just seems like another thing. But so ideally, my point is this has actually not been my idea. It has been asked of me by you guys who have been listening to me on Instagram stories or on YouTube or on Instagram or anywhere for years. You've asked for this. Family members, close friends, people that I've coached, done coaching one-on-one with and mentored, have asked for this, have jokingly said that everything I say is a podcast. And they always say that they wish this was on a podcast so more people can hear this. And when I talk about WhatsApp messages too, real quick, I'm going to go back to that. It's never just stupid stuff. Okay. I really value my time, and my WhatsApp messages, my words are getting all mumbled, but my WhatsApp messages are always these in-depth, detailed, deep, soul, life-changing conversations. This is me. This is how I do life. This is how everything always is in my world. It always has to be big and deep and meaningful and powerful and be moving, and it's just, that's what my WhatsApp messages are normally like to every single person that I speak to. And that is why people are always like, you need a podcast. More people need to hear this. And then on the real side of things, I've been having the universe, God, whoever's on the other side, have been nudging at me to do this really strongly recently. I know so many people that have a podcast. I know so many people aren't consistent with their podcast. And some people want a podcast, they open a podcast, are not consistent with it. And I always hear people tell me, that they're opening one, that they're doing it. And I'm like, yeah, you should have one. Always comes up as always as well. But I'm going to tell you the truth, you guys. I've never cared to have a podcast. I am being called to do this by the universe. So as I mentioned, and I am a repeater because that's just what I am. I always just like to, get around to the main point is I guess this whole idea has been planted subconsciously into my brain years ago and pops up every once in a while and always is a joke. And sometimes I'm like, yes, like a lot of times I'm like, wow, this should be a podcast episode. Or my best friends, when we're having these crazy deep conversations, will say the same thing. And that was like one thing in and of itself. And people have asked me to do this. And that's another thing in and of itself. But most strongly, most intensely, the reason why I am just hitting play right now on December 31st and I cannot wait to January 1st or 2nd or whatever until 2025 starts is because the universe has been nudging at me to do this. And I don't know if you're spiritual or not, but in my world, everything is spiritual, everything is meaningful, everything's deep, like we just reviewed and said. But there are these moments and timelines where the universe and God, whatever you believe in, is really nudging at you to do something. And they get like really intense with this sometimes. I feel like, I don't know if this happens to everyone. I feel like you have to be an intuitive soul, a spiritual soul, a soul that's paying attention to the messages, that knows how to get downloads and messages. And the universe has been pushing me and nudging me. I mean, I just feel it really, really strong from the other side. It's literally beyond me. I can't even explain it. I'm like, what do you want me to do? They're like, do it, and it's actually been coming into my dreams. It started with like dreams. It started with like a nudging feeling that the universe is literally asking me to do this. They're like, it's time, girl. It's time. It's time. That's what I just keep hearing. It's time. Stop. Do this. You need to do this. I don't know, like their deeper meaning of the why. I can see like snippets through my dreams of like where this is going to go and what the future holds. I do have psychic abilities too to make life, more exciting and wild. But they've been nudging at me. I've been getting visions. I've been, in that state. I forgot currently in this moment in time what it's called. The state before, when you're dreaming and you're sleeping versus you being full blown awake. There is that like space where they say that's like the veil is very thin in that space when you're about to wake up, like your eyes are closed, but you're like consciously awake and you're about to open your eyes. That little short timeline is a beautiful time to get downloads, to get visions. It's literally when the veil is very thin and you do get a lot of messages in that timeline. And that's a lot of times when this nudge at like making a podcast has been coming in. And I'm kind of like, it's really beyond me. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I can talk for days. We already know that. If you've been following me for a while, I can talk for days. But it's like, I don't know anything about this, but I just know that sometimes the universe tells you to do something and you have to do it. And it's moving fast. The energy is moving fast. You don't have time to question it. You just have to act on it. It's kind of like this moving train, and it's like you have to jump into the train, but it's a moving train. But like jump on the, just jump, get in. Like it's moving, like go. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? It's like some movie scene, right? That's how I really feel like what's happening. It's like, I don't know, but I don't even know where we're going. Like just jump on the freaking train and just ride, girl. Just ride. So that's what we're doing. We are riding the train. The universe is calling me to do this. And so here I am doing something that not that I never thought was possible, or like just never thought that I would ever tap into or actually eventually do. Like, it just never really called for me strongly until it was like asked of me to do. And really, when I think about it deeper, I know that this is an incredible idea, an amazing idea. I know the level of impact that I have on people that are in my inner circle for many, many, many years. I can definitely say for 2 decades, but I really want to say more so the last 10 years, I have transformed completely so many people's lives, like individually, deeply, to such an extreme degree. I have taken people in the not so great like world, we'll say that, like, people that were depressed, people that were insecure, people that literally didn't see the purpose to life, people that were angry at life in the world, people that were insecure, people that, most people had given up on. They've given up on themselves. And I've taken these types of people, like essentially like broken people. That's what like the world would categorize them. I never categorized them as that. And I completely helped them transform their entire lives in every single category of their lives. And these people just like blew up, like were thriving, like all of a sudden, people that like never had a single healthy relationship in their entire life, and had crazy daddy issues, all of a sudden had these amazing relationships with their fathers, and all of a sudden like were in the first healthy relationship of their life. And like I guided them through that as well, because it just felt like even that felt weird to them. People that didn't, were camera shy, I helped them to, overcome that. People that didn't have money all of a sudden were making millions. I have like the most craziest stories of transformations of how I've helped people. And I'm really good with one-on-one. It's really my specialty. My specialty is really getting in the nitty-gritty of things and really creating like long-lasting transformations for people. Specifically, so I was talking to my now husband, Ben, and my best friend, Elizabeth. So a little background. I did the same thing for them as well. And Elizabeth was actually my first ever paid coaching one-on-one client, who later became my best friend and one of my bridesmaids at my wedding over the summer in Italy. But Elizabeth always said that one of my greatest gifts and why she just joined me as a coaching client was that I am incredible at seeing people's potential. I can see what they cannot see within themselves. I can see 10 steps ahead. I can see exactly what they deserve, where they need to be in the most humblingest place possible without any judgment. And then I go back to the present moment and I like literally like guide them. They're like holding their hands. I guide them there. I take them there. And my husband, who I've also transformed his life in the last 4.5 years, he said to me yesterday when I was telling him about this podcast idea that he thinks that my greatest gift is that very similar to what Elizabeth, my best friend, had said. So she says, I can see people's greatest potential and I allow them, I like guide them towards that. And I literally create them like these crazy transformations. But my husband says that what my specialty is giving people really in-depth, deep, multiple epiphanies, multiple breakthroughs. And he says, I do it in a way where it is tough love at times. It's blunt and it's tough love and it's real. And I'm also really good, he says, at, giving people exactly what they need. Whether it's like a person that's cocky or someone that's more soft, I know exactly what version of me I need to be in order to get the message across. And he says that this is what I guess I would love for him to actually like explain all of this, since he lives with me and experiences me 24/7. And there's always a lesson. There's always some deeper meaning. There's always some deep conversation always happening. But he's like, that is your magic. You make people have these incredible breakthroughs. You make people see what they don't see within themselves. And you really like guide them. You don't give up on them and you just guide them through it. And yeah, I wish Ben was here right now to totally have this conversation and just say it in his own way and in his own words. But I really take like what Elizabeth said and what Ben said, and yeah, like put them together as in I see people's greatest potential. I help people have breakthroughs, breakthroughs, epiphanies, downloads, and then really guide them towards making their dream come true, having everything they've ever wanted, because I really do see the potential. It's a download. I see people's potential. I know exactly what they need, and I guide them through every step of the way. And I really do wish that, so many endless conversations through the years were so recorded. Unfortunately, they were not, but it's like, you got to start now. So we are starting now. So I have decided to name this podcast Influenced by Kim. And honestly, impulsive decision, just download, like, makes sense. I think it's the best thing currently. I also found out that you can change the name afterwards, so that's cool. But knowing who I am and knowing the vast majority of millions of things that end up interesting me, I'm always obsessed with learning. I never stop learning. I learn every single day. I become obsessive with topics. I go down rabbit holes. I want to know everything. I love statistics and all the facts and all the information. And I just go down ridiculous rabbit holes and I want to know everything. And I'm obsessed with life. And, I can be obsessed with a topic until I conquer it and know it and give myself a PhD in that topic. I will not sleep until I find out everything about that topic. I can go down a rabbit hole under a specific topic for 3 months or even a year, and then be on to the next thing, a couple months afterwards. And so I feel but overall, I know who I am and I know what I like to talk about and I know what I'm good at. And I felt like calling this podcast something to do with manifestation it just wouldn't make sense. Calling this podcast something that has to do with self-improvement wouldn't make sense. Or calling it something with just mindset. It just wouldn't make sense for who I am, because I have such a broad, a broad knowledge of so many things that fall into so many different categories. Like who I am as a person. I believe in manifestation. This is the things that we're going to talk about on Influenced by Kim. I love manifestation. I love energy. I love vibration and frequencies. I love conspiracy theories, because I actually don't believe that they're conspiracy theories. I believe that they're all true and real. I am obsessed with the universe. I am obsessed with quantum physics. Quantum physics? Quantum physics? Is that true? Yeah, I guess it is. 5D. I am obsessed with life, with mindset, with art, with creativity, with self-expression, with helping people make their dreams come true, with helping people become the best versions of themselves. I'm obsessed with learning, creating goals and conquering them, having big dreams, traveling the world. I've been to 68 countries. I love humans. I love humanity. There's so many things that, and don't even get me started. I love health. I feel like that's such a broad word, but I am a vegetarian. I eat really clean. I am really anti-chemicals, clean house, up in the air, naturalremedies.com is me. Anti all the poison that they put inside of our food, all the things. And I'm just but I'm also, really passionate about helping people make money online. And I guess it's not making money online. I'm obsessed with helping people do what they love and learn how to make money from it and just have a freedom, because freedom is another big attribution of who I am. Freedom. It's I came here for freedom, and I'm really big into so many different topics that I just could not give this podcast just one name to define me forever, because it's not who I am, I'm moody. I go through seasons and things, and this podcast could not just be about manifestation. I'm very intuitive, and I just kind of go with the flow with what the season is bringing me, what people come to me with. People ask for my advice every single day. It's literally what I do every single day, is I literally help people in all different walks and talks of life That doesn't make sense, I know, but in all walks of life, I have endless talks with them about so many different topics and things. And so I couldn't like put myself inside of just one niche category because that's not who I am. But I am here for all my starseeds, my indigo, the people that want bigger, incredible lives, people that believe in manifestation, people that believe in magic, like all the things. I know I'm not for everyone, but I am for those who get it, who like to see life, with my, with my fun glasses, the way that I see the world. So I feel like I said, there's not going to be a specific topic, but if you wanted me to get specific in general, what I see for this channel is really, it's all those things, but most importantly, or like more like focus based would be like manifestation, making your dreams come true, shadow work, having those deep conversations that are transformational. I want to help you guys have breakthroughs and epiphanies. I want to inspire the fucking living shit out of you. This is also going to be, I'm sorry, it's going to be unfiltered. I don't really care. I'm not really sorry. Like, I'm sorry for those people who can't handle my sassy personality that causes sometimes. Like, this is going to be raw. I'm going to keep shit like real. I'm going to be me. And it's going to be really fun. And yeah, I want you guys to have breakthroughs. I want to amaze you guys. I want to have these deep conversations. Lots of shadow work like happens a lot in my world. I like to go into the dark areas, the areas where people like to avoid and isolate from and pretend like these areas in their lives don't exist. But those areas are the ones that are actually causing all the messes in your lives. And if you just actually owned that shit and like went to the dark side for a second and actually did the shadow works, you would see how powerful you are, how free you are. And I'm the queen of having these uncomfortable conversations and just digging deep and giving people downloads and epiphanies and all the things. And I feel like this is what this channel is going to be all about, all the things. I'm going to be like your mindset bestie, I guess we'll call it that. I don't know what we're going to call it. I feel like I don't want to put too much attachments to what all of this is going to be. I've started a lot of businesses and a lot of, creative ideas throughout my life. And there are some things that you should like overly plan. And then there are other things that you just say, fuck it. And you just go at it and you just like go with your heart. You just become present. You do it. And over a period of time, you end up seeing like where this is going and what this is becoming. And this is actually the story of my travel blog, which actually did not start as a travel blog. So real quick, story time. You're going to get a lot of those from me. In 2014, I started my travel blog, Vanilla Sky Dreaming. And at the time, so that's why I've been doing this for almost 11 years. I started it in February, but I really launched it beginning of March, end of February-ish. At the time, though, it wasn't actually meant to be just a travel blog. In fact, blogs weren't even a thing. Influencers were not a thing at the time. I am a pioneer, and I always like do things before they're cool, before they're a thing, when people think I'm crazy and nuts, and then they become a thing. Only those people that called me crazy and nuts never come back and apologize, which is totally fine. It just makes me smirk and laugh because the travel blogger thing was one of these things that people are like, what is this girl doing? And then look what like influencer world has become. So I started my travel blog, Vanilla Sky Dreaming, in 2014. When I initially started it, it was actually supposed to be art, aka like art, creativity. It was supposed to be spirituality and mindset. And it was supposed to be travel. And the way that I came up with that whole concept is because I thought for a long time I was trying to think of what I had basically jumped from so many different careers in my life. I would change careers so fast because I would get bored really fast. I'd feel like I'd conquer it or I'd get over it or whatever, some sort of thing would happen. And I was just trying to find a pattern of like, what are some things in the last 10 years? I started my blog when I was 28, I believe. Yeah, that's true. Wow. Wildness. I thought I was so old then. Yeah, the irony of it all. But I was trying to think, from age 18 to 28, what are like I've done a million careers. Like, what are some things that are never going to change about me that I see in like the patterns of, the past career paths that I had chosen? And one was, it always my career path had to do something with creativity. I had to be like drawing, writing, pictures, editing, I don't know, whatever. It always had to do with art, creating, always. It always had to have a deeper meaning for me. It couldn't just be like, I'm doing this for no reason or some practical shit, some 3D thing. Nope. It always had to be meaningful and deep for me. So, and I loved, what I loved was learning things. This was one of my concepts in 2014 of why I wanted mindset and spirituality into my blog, was that I loved learning things and then teaching people things. I was like obsessed with that. And I knew that like, it's so funny, like taking a step back into my younger self for a moment. But that was like a download I just had. I was like, that was actually the thought behind it, was I loved learning cool things and then teaching them to people and like amazing them with it. The way that I was amazed when it was taught to me. So art/creativity, spirituality and mindset. And then another thing that was never going to change about me was that I was always going to travel. I loved to travel. From first grade to 12th grade, I went to 9 different schools. I've lost track at this point on how many houses and places I've lived in the world. I want to say that last I counted was like 37 or something, but I did stop the count eventually. But I think I am 39, and at this age, I have lived in 39 different houses around the world. I'm pretty sure that's the number. Like, if I'm really specific, I'm a very specific, detailed human being that's super calculated. And yes, I'm pretty sure I could put like $1 million and it's probably 29 different houses around the world. And I knew that one thing that was never going to change about me, and hold on, I've also traveled to 68 countries in the world. One thing that was never going to, but not at the time when I came up with this in 2014, I had probably traveled to like 13 countries, maybe less at the time. No, maybe like 7 or something. It was not a big list. I knew that the one thing that was never going to change about me was that I was always going to be obsessed with traveling. I always needed to travel. I always needed to move. I always needed adventure. And so when I created my blog, Vanilla Sky Dreaming, it had to have these components. These were things that were never going to change about me. These were things that were like the core of who I am. And I needed them in my life in order to thrive and be happy and feel fulfilled. And it took me a long time, actually. That idea, these 3 things, I had like an epiphany of that 2 years prior in Jerusalem when I literally like was next to the Western Wall. I was studying Torah classes, spiritual classes in Jerusalem at the Western Wall, where the first temple from the Bible was built. And I was basically at the holiest place in the world. I was sitting on a rooftop of my spiritual school. And I asked God, like literally crying, like, tell me what my purpose is, please, please, like, I'll do anything. And like, there was like pure silence. And I'm like, what is it? Like, just tell me already. Like, I've done so many things. Just please guide me, tell me. And I heard nothing, crickets. And I was like, waiting. And then I was like, fine. And then I started walking through the Arab quarter markets, which literally is like a scene out of Aladdin. The markets there are just a scene seriously out of Aladdin. And as I was walking around, it actually goes from the Jewish district to like the Arab quarter. I was walking around and I saw all this beautiful art, this like handcrafted art. And I was like, okay, well, one thing is art. I love art. It has to have art. And hold on, I'm here learning spirituality and I love learning things and teaching people things. And I'm freaking in Jerusalem. Like, I had basically like, but I was living in Baltimore, but like I grew up in LA, but I was like born in Israel, and I'm like, it has to have travel. And so I actually did get the answer. God did give me the answer as I went through this like spiritual like walk and had a nervous breakdown. But then like I got all these downloads. And so that actually happened 2 years prior to actually starting my travel blog. But I kept trying to figure out what would be the thing that, what kind of career would I have to have these 3 things? And I actually was looking for that type of career that would have all 3 of these things for many years. And then I actually realized that if I cannot find it, I will create it. And that is when I created my travel blog. And back to the original point of what it actually, how it started and where it like went off to, was when I originally started my travel blog, Vanilla Sky Dreaming. The way that I started it was I was going to have a blog post posted every single day for the first 30 days. And So, in the beginning, it was like, here's like a creative post, something about creativity and art. It's like about one of the first posts was like about Waynewood in Miami. And it's crazy because I do live in Miami now, and I had lived in Miami 11 years ago. And so I was like, Waynewood was just a new thing. If you don't know what that is, it's like the art district of Miami. Really cool graffiti and artwork. All the biggest artists in the world like come and just paint on these canvas walls, essentially on buildings. And Waynewood was new, and I had this whole blog post about Waynewood when people didn't even know what Waynewood was. And then I had a different one about spirituality and some things that I learned in Dora class. And then it was some travel stuff. And then what I started to notice was, although it was supposed to be, I think like my first original like logo was like soul. It said soul on it, soul, art, and travel. Okay, that was like what the original logo has. That I actually still remembered. I wish I could show it to you guys. It was actually really beautiful. It's still my style today. It's still a really cool logo. It's like beyond its years. But what I noticed was over a period of time, I just started writing more without like, it's just intuition. It's just like whatever, the universe was guiding me towards it. It just became that I was writing more about travel than anything else. And then I started to like actually, as I was doing and showing up every single day, I started to understand like, wait a minute, this is actually, a travel blog with a mix of the other things. And I feel like that happened that way because I wasn't really comfortable talking about my spiritual world. I just felt like it was something that was very private to me, but I wanted to help people, but I wasn't ready. But here we are today. I am ready. And so I started to write more about travel, and I just started to lean into that. And so it became travel plus lifestyle is what I categorized, art and spirituality and all the other things. And then it became like health and like all these other things like fitness and clean eating and so many different things. But it always evolved every single year. And then in my first year, I just was like, okay, this is travel. And I traveled to 18. I wanted to do this like fun game with myself. I traveled to 18 countries my first year as a travel blogger. And it just evolved and became to what it became. My travel blog is how many of you guys actually know me now. I ended up here today because of that dream and that idea. And it's actually funny, but I still have those three principles inside of my life currently today. I will always travel. I just got married in Italy. I live in Miami, 39th house, and I am obsessed with teaching people. I've become like a mindset coach, a life coach, a mentor, a business coach. I become so many different things, and I have creativity. I'm obsessed with just creating videos, photos, inspiration for people for like literally never stopped. 11 years. This is how we are here today. And this is how many of you guys know me. But my travel blog took me all around the world. It became an award-winning travel blog. I worked with some of the biggest brands in the world, some of the biggest hotels. I ended up evolving and becoming my specialty was luxury traveling, adventure travel, and solo travel. So I traveled to all these countries by myself. And then over the years, it just evolved into different things. And, I kept adding different things, different focuses to my brand, which is actually my name, Hofit Kim Cohen. That is my username on almost all social media platforms. And here we are today. I feel like everything has just led me, I suppose, to this very moment on New Year's Eve day, December 31st, 2024, of me recording my first podcast episode. This is so bizarre and wild and weird. I actually only told my husband that I'm doing this like yesterday, and here I am today. I'm very a go-getter. I just take action on the things that's something you learn about me. I like don't even have an idea for 24 hours and I already take action on it. And I jokingly told my best friend yesterday, Elizabeth, I actually told her in the middle of the night, this is gonna be, I'm gonna have a podcast. And I jokingly said, watch, by January 1st, I'm already gonna have 3 episodes recorded. And she's like, I was like, because that's just who I am. I'm just so passionate about everything that I do. And she's like, I wouldn't be surprised. And so I haven't even told so many people that I'm doing this. I just told, my husband a couple of hours, like less than 24 hours, and my best friend in the middle of the night at like 4 a.m. that I was going to do this. And here I am already taking action on it. And I'm just really excited. That's what I do. I get nudges. I just do them. And that's how you should do life. When the universe sends you messages, you got to do it. If they're like, yep, now, go, now. This is actually funny. I'm doing this totally nasal because I got sick. This is actually hilarious. I had not gotten sick for like 3 years, like an actual cold, like 2 years, 3 years. I'm obsessed with my health, and you would just never believe like how I like got sick. This is not my actual normal voice. I got sick because I took too many vitamin pills. I think that's the most craziest thing ever. I think it's like comical and hilarious. It's like I OD'd on vitamin pills. This has happened to me before, but I just think it's funny because it's like I kind of have a cold. It's about to leave. It's like we're at the end stages. We're like on day 6 or 7. But, my husband's like, don't get too close to me if you're sick. And I'm like, it's not even real sick. Like I got sick staying at home. Okay, by the way, I was like home the entire time that like this whole thing evolved. I got sick by not leaving the house, like staying at home. So I wasn't actually exposed to anybody. And taking too much vitamins, not taking too much vitamins, but I suppose, yes, I think I was taking a high dosage of vitamin D. I was watching this holistic doctor talk about how most human beings are vitamin D deficient and how, doctors nowadays tell you that you need like 700 to 800, what do I want to call it? ml? Is that milliliters? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know the actual like it's not grams, but like, okay, we get it. It's like some, whatever amount, ml. So the doctors recommend you that the max amount a person needs of vitamin D per day is 700 to 800. And he was talking about the fact that that's actually so bad because so many people are so vitamin D deficient because of these stupid things. And that you actually, at bare minimum, you actually need 20,000. Okay, 20,000. The government tells us like 700. Like how effed up is that? Okay. And that's the bare minimum just to like mineralize like your muscles and your bones. But if you actually like want to heal your organs and clean out your body and heal your organs and like detox your liver and like all the things, you actually like need like 50,000. I'm not here to take 50,000. I will stay at 40,000. But that's how I got sick. So imagine, again, can we go back to that? Like they tell you that you need 700 max, but like this holistic doctor, and there's actually a lot of backup evidence. I spend like hours on TikTok watching all these people give all these testimonials on how it like actually saved their lives, which a doctor would think you're actually crazy for doing that. Now I'm not. Okay, I'm not a freaking doctor. I'm just telling you what I watched and what I'm doing with myself. I'm doing a science experiment on myself. So I ideally went to get these vitamins that every pill. What is every pill? Oh, every pill is 10,000 of vitamin D. And Ben, my husband, told me do it in moderation, but I just can't. I'm like an all or nothing kind of a chick. I was like, okay, I'm not going to take 50 or 40 on my first try, but I did take 20,000 and I was like, oh, I feel great. And actually like reduced my bloating. And I felt like everything is amazing. So the next day I took another 20,000, or maybe I took 30 within less than 24 hours because I was so excited. And I don't know if I took 2 or 3 the next morning. So the night before I took 20,000, the next morning I took 20 or 30 because I'm just crazy like that. And then later on at night, I was like, I love this. I feel so good. And I took 20 more. And then boom, crash sick. I know, I'm an idiot. I was just really excited. I was really excited about trying this, but I'm like, I'm fine. I'm great. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling energized. Everything's great. And then, I started to have these crazy allergies where I just started sneezing a lot and that turned into a cold. And here we are today. But love all these like riffs and stories and things. Anyways, so I'm recording my first podcast episode, half nasal, on New Year's Eve. And I'm doing all this because the universe is like, girl, do it. We're telling you, do it, just start. So here I am starting. I'm going to end this first episode letting you know that I'm very excited about this new journey. I feel like I don't know what the future holds, but like this is something that I could actually do. I could actually give you guys so much value, so much information. This is actually something that's tangible to me because I do not need to do my hair and makeup every single time I record. I could just like sit on my couch like I am right now underneath the blanket, staring at the ocean from my balcony, cuddled up, and I can just record. I can do this from anywhere and everywhere in the world, and I can do this at any given time. And I would have loved that I still would love that I would have like a live-in hair and makeup artist and a camera crew set up in my office where everything is set up 24/7, that whenever I have like an epiphany or a download or I have this deep, meaningful conversation that I want to share with people, I wish that I can just be like, boom, get my hair done, get my makeup done, and just everything, just record, boom, and just have like endless YouTube videos in that way. And unfortunately, that's not the reality. And that's something that's held me back from like sharing so much information with so many people for so many years, because a lot of times I have something really smart to say, but I don't have hair or makeup and it's shitty lighting and it's like a weird hour and it's in the middle of the night and I can't just like sit and record and like film all this whole thing, and setting it up would take too long and doing my hair and makeup would take too long. And then I'm just like, okay, whatever. Or there's been other times where I'm like, okay, I have a great concept and I'm going to go do my hair and makeup and get dressed and get all pretty and all the things and set up everything. By the time I do that, I'm just like literally an hour and a half has passed, or at least an hour. And I'm like, I don't even know what I was going to say. It's not even going to sound the same. So by having a podcast and just being able to hit record from anywhere in the world at any time fucking feels powerful as fuck, feels amazing. I feel like this is something that I could actually do. We will see where it will go. But anyways, I want to wish you all a happy, magical 2025. I cannot believe we're in 2025. That's insanity. I love you all. I'm so excited to see where this channel takes me and us. And my channel is going to be on all the platforms. So you can find it on, Apple Podcast or Spotify or whatever other platforms there are that I don't even know probably exist currently. I will be there. So please hit subscribe. Let me know if you want. If there's a place to write comments, I would love to get comments. I would love for you guys to send in, if you want some recommendations on what you guys would love for me to speak on. And yeah, let's have fun. Hold on, before I go, I want to say this. I'm a very intuitive, impulsive, like in the moment type of a gal. So I can't tell you that this channel is going to be like every Wednesday. Like, no, like that's not who I am. Like, I can literally record like 4 episodes today and then not record anything for an entire week or 2. Or I can record like 3 episodes every single day for the next week and then not do anything for 2 weeks. So this is that's just who I am. That's my style. That's what works for me. So it's not going to be like every single week at 5 o'clock. We're not doing that. We're just doing like inspiration, download, raw, in the moment vibes and all the things. So always make sure to turn on your notifications. If you follow me on social media, I will always stick in, promotional nudges at you and tell you to tune in. But definitely subscribe. And I'm so excited, you guys. Influenced by Kim is here. And I'm really excited. I will write my New Year's goals later. But I'm like, before I create my 2024 recap video and do all the things, like this needed to be recorded, this needed to be done, this introduction needed to happen. And I'm so excited and I love you guys and I can't wait to get to know you guys better on here, or you guys get to know me better on here. And I can't wait to inspire you and change your life always and forever. Love you. Bye.